All right, we underlined parts of this yesterday. What parts do we underline? Okay, it's all the twists, turns, backups, and zigzags. So you have to have everything from the starting point to the what? To the ending point. Those are the parts that we wrote down. I told you to get rid of all the other parts, right? So, how is that different from what I just told you to write about displacement?
Different between the starting point and
all right.
the ending point.
It's the difference between the starting point and the ending point. So here, we might have to subtract. All right? It might not even be that it's going to subtract, but it might have something that might cancel out. Okay? Now, does everybody have what they need off this board? Okay. I thought y'all wrote it down when I was running the copies. You had a break.
Don't let him lie to you like that. People are trying.
You gonna be first?
I know.
All right, so those of you who said you wanted to do some work at lunch, I now have the copies.
Wait, you like that?
Heroes.
No, I don't want that. So with displacement, we're going to have some pieces that cancel each other out.
Oh.
Everybody there now? Everybody now?
Wait.
All right, so let's say that we're at the school. All right, and we walk to McDonald's. Well, we're going to pretend we have some money. And we're going to walk back to the school. Now, we're just going to say, for the sake of argument, that walking to McDonald's is 1.2 miles. All right? I have no idea how far it is. I'm making it up.
Not far.
Now, if we have to walk 1.2 miles to McDonald's, and we get to McDonald's and we're coming back to school, how far is it back to the school? Same. So it's still 1.2 miles, right? Now, what is the distance that we travel? The total distance.
2.2 miles.
All right, how do we get it?
Yeah.
All right, so to get our distance, we went 1.2 miles to the McDonald's, plus we went 1.2 miles back to the school, so we would have 2.4 miles is the distance that we travel, right? Now, how is that different from displacement? What is displacement?
Is the difference between the starting point?
All right. So where do we start at? We start where? We're starting at the school. Where are we finishing at? We're starting at the school. Where are we finishing at? We're finishing at the school. Okay? So we're starting at the school. We're finishing at the school. So, what's the difference between the two?
That's the full distance, and that's what the starting point.
Okay? We're starting and stopping in the same place. So the difference between the two is there is no difference. So our displacement is 0 miles. We started and we stopped in the same place. We haven't gone anywhere. Our displacement is 0 miles. Most of you today, your displacement will be 0 miles because you started out from your house this morning, and where are you going back to tonight?
Some people live.
Most people, that's why I said for most of you, your displacement is 0. You're going back to the same place you started out this morning. Perhaps everyone is not, which is why I qualified that with most of us. Okay? Some of you may go to a different place tonight. If you're going to a different place tonight, then your displacement will not be 0. Okay? But if you're going back to the same place you started out in this morning, give me your phone, put it on my desk.
Oh,
All right?
That place is bad.
It's not. Put it on my desk. You're not tempted to play with it again.
I was texting my manager that.
I don't care who you're texting. Now, so when you get up in the morning and come to school, you go about your day, you go home in the afternoon, back to your house, your displacement is 0. Okay? If you don't go back to that same place, your displacement is not 0. So let's talk about a different example. Let's say that I start out my day in Tyro. Okay? Well, that's where I live at. I drive to LSHS. I have to go to Greensboro for a workshop. Well, they're not going to pay for a hotel. Greensboro's not far enough away. All right? I spend half a day there, and then I come back to Lexington. Okay? I'm not going home. I'm stopping there in our example. Now, let's say that Tyro to Lexington for me is 11 miles. All right? From the school to where I've got to go to the workshop is somewhere about 35 miles to where they usually send us. All right? So it's going to be about 35 miles back to the school. Okay? So we're going to figure out, again, what... We're going to figure... No, I'm just not going home in this example. And what's our displacement?
Your displacement is 24
Shh,
miles.
hold on. Oh, God. Patience. Take his phone from him. He can't be quiet. Now, if
Say something, right?
we want to find distance, again, what is distance? It's total what?
Miles you have traveled.
That's right. Every twist, turn, zigzag, everything. So what do we do to find distance?
Yeah.
You add all of it. So what am I going to add together?
11 plus 35 equals
11 plus 5 plus 35.
I forgot you went back.
So 35 plus 35 is 70 plus 80 plus 80. Was that 81?
I said 81, he said 86.
I said 86.
Okay, is 81 right?
Yeah.
Y'all the ones with the calculators.
That's right.
Okay. So the distance is 81 miles. It's sort of like the odometer on your car. Okay, those of you who drive, keep track of it. Watch your gas. Right now, the price of gas is going up. Hurricane Harvey caused gas prices to go up. If Hurricane Irma comes through, I guarantee your gas prices are going higher yet. Okay? They claim it has to do with supply and demand. I'm not too sure it has to do with supply and demand. I think the gas companies just want to raise the price and charge us more. So, my husband would agree with you. Now, displacement. Displacement is about how far you are from where you start and where you stop. Remember, things cancel out. Any place that you backtrack that will cancel each other out, you've got to take out of the problem. So, does any part of this description cancel each other out where we backtracked. So this part of the problem here backtracks. I went from LSH to Greensboro and Greensboro back to LSHS. Those parts cancel each other out. What is the part that I'm displaced? The 11 miles where I went from Tyro to Lexington is my displacement.
Right.
Okay? You with me on that? Now, those are the sort of weird examples. Now, we have to do the math examples that go with math class. Everybody with me on those? Suppose I said that we had an example where we walk 5 blocks north and 3 blocks east. All right, and again, we're going to find distance and displacement. All right, what? Okay.
What you say?
We walk 5 blocks north and 3 blocks east. And I would write this one so you have an example. And I'll give you a minute. This is a math question. We're going to draw a picture so you have something to visualize in just a minute. Say what?
You mean Joey.
Joey is Joey. I don't know who Joey is.
Probably not. Probably he might take the next semester.
Whoa. You gonna murder today? Let's go block it.
I think I need a dad.
Oh, let's go. Correct.
All right, so we're going to draw some lines. This is not hard. All right, you got north. Now we need east. All right, so up and over. Is that what you got? And you're good. All right, so since it says north, north means to do what? Up. So I'm just going to draw up, and I'm going to write a 5 there. All right, east means what?
Right side.
Okay, and I'm going to write 3 above it. Now, what's that look like for math class? Right angle. That mean anything to y'all for math class? What?
90 degrees.
90 degrees. So what's that mean in math class that we might be able to use?
Degree.
What's 90 degrees mean to y'all in math class?
I barely know.
It's a square.
If y'all got a right angle like y'all just said,
Oh, the other piece.
what's that? Say it. Pythagorean theorem. So y'all can use your a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Exactly. Now, which one can we do to find distance? What do we do to find distance? What do we got to do to find the distance he traveled if he walked 5 blocks and 3 blocks? Just do what? Not. Just add what? Add the 5 plus the 3. You're just going to say 5 blocks plus the 3 blocks.
I said that this would be the scene. You know what's crazy?
What?
Harrison explained Pythagorean, however you say it.
Pythagorean
In
theorem.
the 8th grade.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk about it today. All right. So he walked 8 blocks. That's his distance he traveled. Now, his displacement is not 8 blocks. Because if y'all are like me, Y'all are looking going, I could walk all the way up 5 blocks over 3 blocks, or I could take the shortcut. Most people are going to take the shortcut. Cut through some places, right? The shortcut is the displacement. Okay? When you cut through the church lots, that's displacement. Okay? That's what we're talking about when we cut through the church lots. That's displacement. Okay? So, all those shortcuts you guys take are the displacement. So, how do we do the Pythagorean theorem? Does it matter which one we make A and which one we make B? Absolutely not. Okay, so A, I'm just going to arbitrarily choose 5 is going to be A. So 5 squared. I'm going to make 3B squared equal C squared. Okay, so you don't have to do anything to let the calculator do the work. If you don't know what 5 squared is, say 5 and hit squared on your calculator. It's x squared. Most of y'all know what 5 squared is, but if you don't, make the calculator do it. 25 plus, if you don't know, 9 equals C squared. Okay? Everybody good with that? 25 plus 9 is?
34.
34 equals C squared. Now, how do we get the C squared to just be a C? Now, you guys have heard me say multiple times, if something's added, what's the opposite of add? If something's multiplied, what's the opposite of divide? All right, so when it's squared, what's the opposite of squared? That's why you take the square root. So square root. So C equals. Does everybody know how to find the square root on the calculator? All right, so on. I think it's on because half the time I'm punching it's not even on. So second, find your x squared and hit square root. And then 34. And you're going to get a decimal number again. Just take one number, one decimal. 5.8. And then your answer is 5.8. And what unit did I give y'all? Blocks. So 5.8 blocks would be your displacement. Now, if we did it legit, we'd walk 8 blocks. But if we do Carlos's, I'm cutting through the church lots, we're only walking 5.8 blocks. Okay? That's the displacement. Is it dead or something else? Okay. That's displacement. Now, we're going to try practicing some of these using a program on the computer called ClassFlow. All right, now, everyone is assigned their own laptop. You have a number. When you turn your laptop in, they go back to the correct space in numerical order. Do not push so hard on these doors that we break the doors. I've had this cart repaired because this was not my cart. These are not my laptops. Apparently, I've been upgraded to Chromebooks this year. Your numbers are here.
That's not our upgrade.
Okay? So that you don't all have to look. Pay attention. DeMarco, you're number 1. Devin 2. Hold on. Maria 3. Florida 4. Timothy 5. Haley 6. Devin 7. Lewis 9. Tanya 11. Keith 12. Chris 13. Jonathan 14. Jameer 15. Jesus 16. Sean 17. Drew 18. Abigail 19. Alberto 20. Nathan 21, Flores 22, Cynthia 23, DeAndre 24, Carlos 26.
What you say?
Hey, let's go.
That
was Maria.
Little booties matter too.
And if one of them doesn't work, then you have to tell me about it, because I haven't looked at any of these. I like how to get into them. So y'all better know how. What do y'all bring Haley hers?
Someone didn't love that. I don't know. I need to. You look stupid. I am. I cannot
Hey, yo, go deeper.
So you're just going to go every day?
I always thought of Michael like a father to me.
You gotta turn the knob. You can just do student. It doesn't matter. Not for what we're doing today.
What's your number, young man? Who got my number?
Who got his number?
Did y'all get somebody's computer that's not yours?
Really? No, this is not good. I love the real. I went to place it.
I'm here taking people's laptops.
I don't look.
This is 7. Is it 31st? 6th.
Are we supposed to make a new account?
No.
This has. You have to make a new. Oh.
It's your Gmail.
Now you just press
Oh.
I told her.
that was
We do a snatch. I was in the 5th grade.
pull up with this thing.
I know.
You up?
10.
Okay, hang on.
They call me D. You did.
Y'all stop with that water silence. You're taking scrap.
She don't like water. Like every time the rain, that's like the rain. He don't know what he's talking about. Can you demonstrate? Do a lot of it.
I need you to go to classflow.com/learner, okay? Don't go to classflow.com. That's to log in as a teacher or a student. I need you to go to classflow.com/learner, okay? And I have it in 2 different settings so you can see what you're supposed to see. So right now I've got it logged in like you would see it as a student. Okay?
Let's say /2.
Okay, now, when you get the screen that I have, which is what I have up there on the board, you see this green code that I have right here?
Nope.
That's the code you need to type in. Q6KB4.
KB4. Does it have to be my first name?
I have it in as your first and last name.
We know.
That's fine. When you put in Drew and Pittman, it should probably pull
Oh, wait a minute, you ain't telling me to put in Pittman now.
We put DRU.
Right.
Did you put in classflow.com/learner?
Wait, no.
Okay.
He doesn't do it. I don't think he's doing
I
that.
think I have your name in there.
Good.
Class code Q6KB4.
You wanna join, right?
Yes.
No.
Join.
You bet. This one,
See.
It's possible that I set this up before your name was.
Oh, word?
And that's fine.
Good dude.
Because I did this, I think before class lists were complete. Yeah, go ahead, join anywhere. Now, some of you, it's possible that, you were added after I did this. Then join anyway. Type your name in and then hit join. Yeah, type your name in and hit join anyway. Yeah, right there. Looks like that class code in the back. In the back there. All right.
So flex, you know what that is?
6 K B B as in boy.
Oh.
B is a
No flex, you wow.
You got B. Go back to the B.
Boy, I ain't.
What, like?
That's great.
All right, anybody struggling to get? Yeah. Anybody not there? Can't get in. Yes, you gotta put your real name.
Uncle Drew, you gotta get him.
What'd you put?
Chris is fine.
Everybody there?
Deep.
There.
Alright, bro, ain't nothing in there. I might.
Oh, that's Word up, Pete.
Did you put in /1? Classflow.com/1. Let's go.
I was just trying to help him. You feel me? All that shit.
You go give me some more?
I mean, I got a water bottle, bro. Do that.
Find the folder.
I got some more. Hey, man, y'all made your problem. How you, what you? You gonna what? I can walk past you, I'm off too.
You'll see them.
Come on, boy.
I'm gonna push problems out here, and you're gonna push me. All right, type that code, this is the green up there on the orange box, so it says Q6, KB4 up there, and what, type that in.
Mr. Drew. When he sleep with a dummy about.
And then type that in.
I ain't had good sleep in a couple of days. Right. So let me know.
Mom goes up.
What's up?
All right, everybody there?
I was about to say.
All right, why don't you log me out, dumb thing?
Bro, that was hilarious, bro. Big T. Like little Gucci man. Yeah.
Gucci.
Why I heard these chains was staying still up.
Man, like that, bro. Chain.
Right.
We need
Like they used to be rings
One
when
of
you
them
turned up
broke
in the chain.
but not, they car. He did something, somebody changed, he did it with a finger, bro, that jump broke. Outside like that, bus.
Yo,
Got
I did
mad.
that too.
He got mad, he was like, man, you got fit.
All right, did you get something on your screen?
I said, what?
Yeah.
All right, now, I've given you access for, hopefully,
He said my glasses.
Jameer does not have, is it still? All
All
right, you should have gotten, all right, a card, it's called a card on your screen. It should have a problem. It should say, what is the distance and displacement I traveled, all right, based on what's on your screen. I want you to answer the question and send it back to me, all right? Now, at the bottom, you have tools. You can use your mouse. You can use your key. I made it a creative poll, so you can type or you can write using the mouse, okay? Do not know why Jameer did not get anything, okay? Now, the bubbles that are popping up are responses that I'm getting. Now, you can resubmit your stuff, and I do not have it showing names, so,
Drewski.
all right.
Wait, no.
So I've already got answers up there so that I can see the name. So the reason I do this, because I can save this stuff and I can go back, is I can see who's participating. I can see who got right answers, who got wrong answers. And it's formative assessment, A, for me, but I can also see who's participating and who's not participating. Here, the next one will figure out why I didn't go to you. Hopefully it'll go since it's now up like it's supposed to be. All right. What was that? Okay. You're about that. It's taking brown tissue inside. There's tissues up there.
I'm all right.
You'll get it.
I forgot already.
All right, so see if you can figure out the distance and the displacement. You can either type an answer or you can write it with a pen or a stylus using the mouse pad.
If these was touchscreen.
Well, they're not touchscreen.
Yeah, I know, he broke.
You can submit button.
I remember in middle school, we got the iPod.
Who's got a whole toolbar down there? I ain't got a toolbar.
Where's the guy come through here?
Click off of it. Like in the white area, but not in the blue. I don't know why you don't have the toolbar. Louis, get in here.
Back in the day, they slided the ocean.
I don't know why you don't have a toolbar. If you hit return, it's not gonna do anything.
That's bad.
No, ain't nothing.
Then again, she always knows. She knows.
Oh.
Yeah, a little.
All right. I got it. You got it now? All right, put your answers back in again. All right, for those folks who didn't have a toolbar like Devin, did you get your toolbars to come up? Did everybody get a toolbar other than Devin so that they could type or write? Okay. Have you sent me an answer? Because after Devin types his in, I'm getting ready to hit stop.
Wait, hold on.
That's
Why you think it's
It's 8 left.
Wait, oh, you can't type?
You can type it.
Oh, I typed.
Yeah, you can.
Everybody trying to draw.
No, you don't have to.
I mean, if I'm gonna.
I mean, I know.
You ain't gonna know it's bad.
Oh, I know you dropped it.
All right, is everybody giving me an answer that wants to or is going to? Who am I waiting on?
Me.
All right, hurry up.
She'll pop up a little bit. There you go.
Okay.
Got 4 more remaining.
Can you go back in?
Can you do what?
Hurry up, hurry up.
You can hit resubmit.
Oh, yes,
Type something else in it and hit.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Why is there only 10 people submitted?
Yes, you can get.
Oh, yeah, you got it. Don't look at it.
You can look at mine.
It's 25 and 2.
You got him with that.
Alright, so if we solve this, alright? Let's see what we got. If I travel from the school 2 miles to McDonald's, you let me write on it?
I ain't put my increment.
Yeah, apparently it's not.
Where's your button, man?
It's probably the old version better. They've updated it this year and I don't.
Updates are always.
You think?
Let's do it before.
What happens if we click? Oh, there we go. It's gonna let me write. It's just gonna take 8 years.
8,000 million years on a week.
There we go.
Go slow, go slow.
So, how do I get, what are these two? Okay.
It's just set 2 miles school until.
All right, that brings up the next card. That's not what I wanted. What's that? Blow that up. All right, that's back where I was. Let's see if it'll let me write this time. All right, so if I go from school to McDonald's, we said it was 2 miles. And 2 miles back made it, how many miles did I go total?
4.
So the distance was 4 miles. And what's my displacement?
Since you went to school, you don't have no more.
Say what?
But since you went back to the school, you have 0 miles.
You have 0 miles for the displacement.
Oh, no.
Okay. So let's see how we can see the answers that people submitted, which is the second piece of this homework.
I did.
Chill out. Hey.
They don't have the names on.
They do.
I don't have the names showing.
I need a burger.
They show the names, it don't matter.
See how the names are not highlighted? You can't see the names.
Go to show name.
It doesn't matter, Clara.
I need a burger. I'm working my G. I need a burger.
That's mine.
6 and 2.
That's not what I want. All right.
Miss Martin, do you have a lunch menu later?
I don't.
I
looked in the,
I want a burger.
What's some movie?
Nah, burger.
We got lunch.
Don't you hate it when they improve programs? It's not an improvement.
Oh,
You
yeah,
can't figure out how it works.
I know, I was trying to watch a video yesterday and they moved the website. I'm like, yeah, so I had to get my dad's like login stuff for like North State or
Is that
whatever
what it
to
sounds
log
like?
in to watch it on another one. I was like,
Cause you doing something wrong. That sounds dry.
wait, what have I got for lunch?
No.
Oh, I don't know if you got for lunch. You got carrots and lettuce?
Crap.
Not today.
She probably ate some granola.
No.
Oh, yeah, let me use that.
Yeah, y'all do not want what she has. Y'all do not want what she has for lunch. It's kale, quinoa, and chicken.
Right. Tastes like water.
That's just always chicken.
You look at that stuff sitting in the bowl. All right. Now, how do I get your answers to come up?
That should
How you doing, Dragon?
Oh, I know how to do this.
Carlos Williamson.
I know how to do it. Stand back.
I don't want the original
You
question.
press this one here. Well, I know who that is. This is one.
That's how you do it. It shows
Who's
you.
that?
What is it?
You know, you put the other, you was doing the rap.
That's not what I want either.
And who's that? That's mine. It ain't got my name on it. It ain't mine. They got this wrong.
It showed up right here.
Uh-oh.
It showed up right here.
Yeah,
I don't- Yeah, because it asked me if I wanted to do a new poll, which I don't. I want to say I can answer.
probably said 10.
That's why I'm finna be laughing at my boys out here like that. I'm doing 30, bro. If it's like that, bro, I'm like, how about that? How about that?
I'll have to figure that out later.
You was
Alright, so I sent you another question
What?
to try so you can send me the answers back. Because I'd be doggone if I can figure out how to get to your answers. I'm going to have to play with that tonight on my laptop. Alright, so let's see if we can figure out how to figure out our distance and our displacement. So we walked 4 blocks west and 6 blocks north. We're looking for distance and displacement.
Wait.
I got
So I can figure out how to do everything except see your answers.
Oh, yeah.
So tonight I'm going to be figuring out how to find your answers. Okay.
Okay. Okay, for your distance, you're just gonna.
You go 6 blocks north and 4 blocks west. What are you going to
It's
create?
this is what you're doing. It's the same thing.
Draw a picture.
Ooh, that's a horrible song. Alright.
Sorry,
You're going to go north and west. What are you going to
Like
create?
too much pizza roll.
Yep. So what you got to do if you got a right angle?
I got a question.
You gotta be easy with it.
Unless you want me to have that phone, you better make it go black so I don't see any text.
Oh, whatever. She just said that. Fine.
It's out. You always on your phone. Oh, yeah, I'm tripping.
Because it's plugged in, I assume he's charging. Although, why do you have it plugged in there when you plug it into the countertop to get juice? You have something to plug it into to get the juice, etc. Yes.
The answer is 10.
You have
I'll fill that back.
something to count and get electricity.
How you get that?
Huh?
Because you got
Then I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
have.
this is
Yeah, I don't see that either.
and east. That's what you're gonna make a triangle. That's
Yeah,
you
probably
want
so.
like a square.
You want to
Square.
What you got?
You get.
Remember, you're going
You get
north
that, and then you
and
have.
west, so what you gonna create?
Yeah, and then you square root.
Oh, I forgot that.
What you gonna do if you get this? That creates what? So, we're gonna have to do a Pythagorean theorem.
You know, I'm
That's what I can't. It's hard to draw.
Well, you don't have to draw.
That's not letting me grab it.
I wanna.
It's not gonna let you grab
Not letting me grab it.
it, okay? Now get the displacement. Then use your Pythagorean theorem.
That's recently.
What do you do for distance? Distance is every part of what you travel. What do you do for every part you travel?
Ain't no way I'm eating no type of corn dog.
The one you let me submit.
You have clear out that?
You add it all up.
What's that?
DeAndre. That's in the home.
DeAndre.
Alright, now,
Oh.
your displacement. You went 6 blocks north and 4 blocks west. West. What are we gonna create if we're going west?
Maybe one of us.
No, call you dad.
What?
I ain't gonna tell you like that. Hey, the that's a straight. That's a straight.
Because it's right.
America didn't want it.
You both got them? They sent up there? Chris.
I don't know how to make a square on here.
Because it's what?
See how it says you got north and west?
Or go up and go.
Bro.
Right like this.
Kick me up.
This way.
Like this.
Not with all that noise.
Yeah. Marco, stop on the board. Stop on the board.
Oh, 52.
I can't, bro.
That's your mind.
I be shaking, you know, that.
The distance.
Man, no.
The distance is up.
I know.
Square.
What are you trying to do?
All right, I'm gonna do that.
She just told me.
Yeah, she started crying. Like,
52, that's your distance.
Are you sure?
Mark, you remember that? Mister?
Oh, yeah.
I was rolling. It wasn't funny, but she just came around and like start crying. No, it's because it's her.
Talk us to help.
Yeah. And then she cried again because somebody's having the baby early. She cried 2 times.
See, girl, I'm so glad you smelled that.
You don't get like that. Yeah, those sports wear.
What are you trying to do? See other people's,
I want to see what they wrote.
they're doing it.
I know. But I should, well, I guess maybe I can't. Maybe I'm trying to click on somebody who's still writing on it. Maybe that's why I can't. See, I used to be able to see everybody's.
You're clicking on it and it's showing what they put.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. I want to see what they submitted. See, I used to be able to click on it and see what their answer was that they sent me. And I used to be able to scroll through and see the answers, one after the other, without the names on it. And that's what I want to be able to do. So I should be able to see this. I should be able to see them all. And if it's not going to let me do it, I'm not going to keep using this. All right.
Miss Bob.
All right. So let's look at what you came up with. What?
Never mind.
All right. It's okay. You can still send it. I didn't hit stop. So, if you want to hit send, go ahead and do it. Because I'm going to hit stop in just a second.
Can we go out there and do it?
No, I'm going to do it. No, I'm going to do it.
No, you're doing it.
So, when you're calculating distance, what do you have to do for distance? You have to add everything. Okay? So, if you're adding everything, all right? If you're adding everything, stop. This thing not going to stop.
It stops.
Okay. All right. So, now come back to what I want.
Are you gonna turn on the rest? You about there.
Thank you.
Girl, I heard that all the way around. Girl, you should have got.
Not old age here.
You crazy. Oh, bye.
I got that 5. I ain't talking about that 5.
All right. Looks like it's not doing what I want. We're going to quit this in a second.
Yeah, what? What you
All right. Y'all go put those laptops up. I'm tired of this. I got it. They've done some updates and I need to play with this more. Well, we're finished with this today. Yeah. Till I have a chance to play with it some more, yeah, we're done with it for today. Goes. I'm done with it. Go put your laptops up. You're supposed to sign up for them somehow through your email.
I think we're doing it.
We are, but I don't know how to do it.
I thought it was like the office or something like that.
No, they've changed the process. So you're supposed to do it through email. So I'm not certain exactly how you're supposed to do it.
What's that?
I don't know how to register for clubs
There's a link on their, should be,
in their email. Yeah,
and there's a click on.
no, right now.
There's a
We'll do it
link.
in a minute.
And you just submit it.
Yeah, like the bus, because Bauer said the Google form for them to fill out, they watched the bus video, it's not in their emails.
She just, Harvey just sent it.
When, a few minutes ago? Oh, okay, well, what's the second period?
No, the film came out first, then Harvey sent it.
Oh, well, we'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm on.
That way, she's had time to work out the glitches today, third period, so we'll do it tomorrow. That will be. I got to work with Glass Flow. They updated it and changed a bunch of crap. I can't figure out how to even check their work.
Look, but it's not. So it's not.
It's like
It takes me forever to figure out how to do it. Then once I get comfortable with it, they change it.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, we have to give up the
Mess.
Yep.
I'll get some water with the water.
He said, don't touch my.
I understand.
Exactly.
What did you say? You said who thought next thing?
All right, y'all got them in there? Hurry up.
It's a different
She getting there. She getting there.
All right. Let's say that I ask you this question on the test. Now, be quiet. Let's say that I ask you this on the test. If Bob walks 2 blocks east, 4 blocks south, and 2 blocks west.
DJ Walker. Damn, Bob.
If y'all can't do any better than this,
That's a whole lot of
You
south
will
side on the board.
listen to me. If y'all can't do any better than this, y'all won't touch a laptop again this semester.
What happened?
This is ridiculous. If y'all can't count, and there's numbers. There are numbers on the shelves. And y'all can't do any better with matching the names.
I learned you.
2 blocks up.
Look what you started.
2 blocks up.
All right, Chris is yelling 2 blocks south. All right, why do you say 2 blocks south, Chris? Why do you say 2 blocks south?
I thought we did one thing.
Everything you like. Okay, so when you go east 2, then you go west 2,
Okay, east 2 and west 2.
then you go like.
Okay, so what are you telling me about the east 2 and the west 2? They do what?
They
They cancel. Okay, I like that. So you're saying when you go 2 blocks east and 2 blocks west, they're going to cancel each other out. I like that. So let me put an E and a W there. Okay, and what else do we have?
You got 4 south.
4 south. Okay. So these 2 are going to cancel each other out.
So you just got 4 blocks left.
Okay, so we're just left with 4 blocks south.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you just misspeak when you said 2 blocks south?
Yes, because I was canceling out 2 from south to.
Oh, okay. So
I didn't
yes.
see 2 blocks, but they way.
Okay. Yes, the 4 blocks south would be correct. Do you have 30 back there? True. Then you can lock it. Okay. But yes, those 2 would cancel each other and you would have 4 blocks south. All right. Now, we need to talk about scalar and vector quantities. Now, a scalar is a number. Get off the desk, Sean. If you really want to sit on something and you promise not to write on anything, you can sit on a stool over there at the counter, but do not write on the counter. Do not draw on any of the little pieces that are. Now, you still need to take notes while you're over there. That does not mean just prop up on the stool. You need to do your work while you're over there. All right, a scalar is a number. A vector is a number with a direction. Some of the things that we're going to study this unit will be scalars, and some of the things that we will study in this unit will be vectors. Okay? Now, we do not need to know that. Just to give you a feel for some things that we will talk about that are each. All right, speed, for example. Speed will be a scalar. It will not have a direction. When you get in the car and it says you're doing 55 miles an hour, 55 miles an hour has no direction. It's a scalar. When we just talked about distance, it was a scalar. Did not give anything about direction. Now, a vector has to give direction. When we talk about velocity, velocity will give direction. When we talked about displacement, displacement had to give direction. We had to know something about where we were going, what points we were at, where did we turn around and go back to. We had to have specifics there so we could label things. Those are vectors. Yes, sir.
Just so I understand, like, street signs, well, highway signs, like I-95, that would be a velocity, a vector.
That would be a vector quantity because it's giving you directions. That is correct. Okay, but if it's a speed limit sign, that would be a what? Okay, that would be a scalar. Okay, vectors are important where? Vectors would be important for highways. Okay, so if we put in just something that you guys should all know, these are important for things like highways and particularly in airports. All right, several of you have said that you have flown. If you've ever been into Atlanta, LaGuardia, you've been into, what's the one in Chicago called? O'Hare. All right, I think at the moment Atlanta is still the busiest. You have airplanes that land every 60 seconds. They either take off or land every 60 seconds. If you have airplanes that do not know whether they're coming in or taking off, and they don't know their speeds or which runway they're landing or taking off from, what is likely to happen at the airport? A crash. Okay? Most airlines or airplanes that crash, you are most likely going to do what? Die. We can survive a car crash a whole lot easier than we can a plane crash.
How come, like,
Every 60 seconds.
Every 60 seconds at Hartsfield in Atlanta.
how come, like, there's like bombs in the airplane?
So what now?
You know, like, sometimes they put bombs in the airplanes. How is that even possible?
They do what?
Don't they
Well, they do, but it's like everything else. There's so many people who pass through the airports, human error, and they're just hard to catch all of those things. I mean, even when we have metal detectors here, so let's just say to get in and out of football games, you know, theoretically, you would think we would get all of the weapons or knives that people would bring in and out of the football game. But could we catch all of those coming in and out? No, it's not possible.
We don't have no
They would, like, through the.
All we got is.
What, there?
Like,
I was about to say, I got it.
or the ones that put the bombs in there, they don't go through them. They don't.
I am not a terrorist. How would I know how they do this? I have no idea.
I said, you
I have no idea. I'm sure there are people who know this, but I am not the person to ask.
He said, I don't know.
Cause like,
I mean, I would love to tell you, Abigail, I just do not know. I just don't have anything to pull from to share.
like, cause I think it's easy to like, for example, to traffic drug, cause if you go to Mexico by car, because whenever cause when you're
Right, now, I would believe that without difficulty. You know, and you know, and I don't say this to be racist in any way, but there's a certain profile that most police will look for, okay? my family and travel across the United States and probably smuggle drugs faster and easier than anybody else on the road. I'm a fat white lady. They are much in my mid-40s. They are much less likely to check me than they are any of y'all because you're teenagers. Okay? Y'all are going to fit the profile. Okay? I'm going to be less likely to be checked than y'all are. Okay? But that's just the reality of the world we live in. I mean, we could all say the police don't profile people. They do profile people. Okay? I'm not going to be checked. Y'all probably are. Okay? You what? You got a Rolex on your arm. I don't have a Rolex on my arm. Alright? Keyshawn's got a Rolex. They're probably thinking that boy got a Rolex on his arm. They're probably thinking he stole something. He's running drugs. Who knows what they think? Okay? That's just profile. But, you know, when you cross the border, a lot of people, they unzip, they look very quickly. Okay, it looks like clothes, zip it up. There's a giant line. They are not going to sort through everything closely. I mean, you know what it's like at the grocery store. Oh my gosh, she's trying to hurry, get people in and
But what
out.
about airplanes?
I would imagine it works the same way. People are just trying to move people through the line. They get in a hurry. They just go All right, let's talk about speed. We've got about 15 minutes, so let's talk a little bit about it so that we can work on at least one lab tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll get started on the second lab tomorrow. Now, speed. This is a topic you should have talked about, I would think, in middle school, but I don't know who you had or if you have sons. So, speed. Most of you can probably tell me that speed is defined as what? All right, velocity is different and is very similar. We're going to talk about how that's different probably late tomorrow in class. It needs two things. In order to measure speed, you need a what over a what. There you go. Okay? Speed is basically defined as a distance over a time. Okay? Now, sometimes, instead of saying distance, some folks will basically say a change in position. Okay? So you could substitute the words change in position over time. It doesn't matter which way you say it. Distance or change in position means the same thing. Because if I'm standing here, and then I'm standing here, I moved up distance. I did change my position, but it's still a distance that I traveled. Now, this is the only formula that is not on the reference table I'm going to give you tomorrow because it's the exact same as the velocity one that Drew just talked about. I thought you just said something about it. Okay, velocity is the same as the velocity formula, which is why it's not on there. S equals D over T. Now, this is a scalar formula. And it's scalar because it is the only formula that we will learn in this unit that has no direction. Everything else that we will do in this unit is going to have a direction. So tomorrow when we get to velocity, when we get to acceleration, when we get to momentum, all of those things will have a direction. But speed does not. So this is an easy one to be able to do because we don't have to worry about direction. Now, those of you who did fairly well with calculating with density, this formula works the same way. So some of the easy problems we should be in good shape with today. It's the ones with the tables and the graphs that sometimes bog us down. Does everybody have what they need? Okay. So, average speed. First of all, some of us are going to struggle with this because it's like the units. And you'll notice on your test paper today, some of you had points taken off because you didn't label your units.
Every single point taken on you.
So you need to make sure you put your units on your numbers.
Somebody made it.
Oh, I need to hand back the density labs too. Some of you got hammered on that too. They're graded. I just forgot to hand them back today. All right. I'll hand them back tomorrow because we're still working on this. All right. So when you label a graph, nobody lost points for this on the graph on the back page because when we were doing this, I said to you, label your graph. But am I going to say that to you on everything we do in this unit? No. You've got to label your graph and remember to do it. It's like the units. If you don't label your graph doesn't mean anything. It's just a bunch of lines. Now, what does that mean to say average speed? It doesn't mean that.
I mean, I'm sorry. My apologies. I didn't mean that.
Okay. What does average speed mean?
It means.
It means what? Okay.
Approximately.
So today I've got to go to Greensboro after school. Is my speed going to stay the same or is it going to change?
No, it's gonna change.
It's gonna change.
Depending where you at, but your average speed is all of those speeds that the speeds that you have went before. Man, I can't explain.
Yeah, you're doing fine. Keep going.
All the speeds you had before.
Added up and then divided by the amount of by the number of speeds you've already had.
Okay, I can live with that.
Like that.
That's fine. That's not a bad answer. Okay. So it's the total speed. All right.
See?
All you had to
Could
say.
you just base it on,
Right.
what's the name?
You said
Right.
Huh?
Could you just base it on, what's the name?
All right.
Total speed
It
divided
will change over time, which is what Drew said. It's going to change over time. It's not going to stay the same. All right. So when I go to Greensboro today, I'm going to hit traffic lights. I'm going to have entrance ramps, so I'm going to speed up. I'm going to slow down. I'm going to pass people that get. I am going to exceed the speed limit in a few places. All right, but my speed's going to change over time. I'm not going to do 80.
Like she was blanking up people.
Not going to do 80. I'm generally 5 or 6 over. That's about it. Now, if we have a graph where my speed, where you just said, it will increase, it will decrease, and does everybody know INC is increase and DEC is decrease, or do I need to spell it out?
I need to spell that phrase.
That's a meter.
That's fine.
Okay.
That boy said that's a meter.
So I'm going to have spots that it will increase, it will decrease, and it will stay the same. So if it's going to do all that, how am I going to show that on the graph? Devin, pick your head up. All right, how am I going to show that with the lines? How would the graph look to show that? Okay, so we got some up. All right, I got some down for Maria. How would I show stay the same? Okay, or a flat line. Okay. So I could have some up, I could have some flat, I could have some down, something like that. But the biggest thing is, it can't be what kind of line? It can't be a straight line. Okay? It's got to be non-straight. It could even be curved. Okay? As long as it's changing. All right? So out here to the side, I'm going to write the graph must be changing. Now, when you say it's straight, what kind of speed is going to be straight?
Constant speed.
There we go. So that's going to be the very next thing we're going to talk about. Because I've still got 6 minutes. We'll finish up with constant speed and we'll be done.
Like your car on cruise control.
All right. So that will be what we're going to talk about there. And even on cruise control, does the car truly stay at constant speed? Don't back up. We need to write down constant
No, because
speed.
if you want to cruise control, you go up and down.
That's right. When you go up and down a hill, the speed is going to pick up and slow down a little bit. Very few cars are able to stay there. Does everybody have what they need off that slide?
Yes.
All right, last one for today, and then we'll stop. Constant speed. This one, I'm just going to put V and T there and label it. Leave it alone. We'll talk about it in a couple days. Probably not tomorrow. Probably the next day. All right, constant speed. So how can we define constant speed? What does it mean?
The exact
pace.
All right, steady pace.
The exact speed that you stated.
Okay, so the speed's not changing. All right, so you guys said that it was a straight line. What kind of straight line?
Okay, so it's from, not from distance. Oh, yeah.
How's a straight line gonna look? That's the piece I need. Like what, Jameer? Okay, so you say like this? All right. So, Jameer has the line looking like this. Okay? In order to be constant speed, it has to be diagonal and it has to be straight. All right? So the distance and the time change equally, because if they don't, your speed is not constant. One of them is changing at an unequal rate. Now, I'm going to change this for a second. I've changed my mind. What if I put distance here and I do this? Let me say I draw this line for a second. Tell me what this is. It is a horizontal line.
That's kind of like going 80 miles per hour. Actually, it's like 80 miles.
That's what most people tell me.
You're just going like on the highway straight.
That's what he's saying. I'm going on the highway and I'm going straight. So that is. That's y'all right now.
But if you drive like Ms.
What are y'all doing right now? Tell me what distance is doing right here. This is distance on the y-axis. What's that line doing with distance?
It's not moving.
It's not moving. All right? This means that we are not moving. Y'all are sitting still. This means the car's not going anywhere. Y'all are sitting still. Now, while y'all are sitting there, we need to talk homework. Tonight's my homework night. Remember what we talked about? I try to limit myself to one night a week. Don't put this up. I need to tell you what problem numbers to do because I'm not giving you 19 questions.
Hey, I don't.
Let me tell you which numbers to do. All right.
I'll be coming from my box, man.
My dad.
It's not that. But it
It's not right there. That's too much.
What class you got?
All right. Those 6 questions. All right. On the sheet. I want you to do these 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 8. So if I check homework tomorrow, those are the 6 I'm looking for. And remember, you only have 1 homework check to this point. So this would be number 2. Remember what we talked about. I try to limit myself to 1, maybe 2 homeworks a week. That was it. I haven't given homework very much.
Why not maybe 2? What about maybe we don't believe in homework? Not even fully 1, maybe 1.
Yeah, religious holiday that prevents me from doing homework.
What should be doing?
Yeah. Say what? Homework is not a punishment. That's only 6 questions.
I'm a 6-day adventure.
Remember, I had small children. I hated doing homework. Don't make me so food. So I really try to keep it to a minimum.
Why you tell you what I do?
Oh, yeah, you need to tell everyone else you like that.
I hated doing homework with small children.
Did you know that homework is actually that's what I just look it up.
I believe it. I believe both of them. And I don't believe that people do that. Why are y'all all out of your chairs? Unless you're putting up a
That's
camera
what I'm
and putting in
doing.
a chair.
Putting my sticks in my bag.
Why were your sticks out of your bag? Who were you going to beat up?
Out of my bag.
You planning on hitting somebody?